Hello, hello, and welcome to NJ Thrive's Small Business Webinars. Today is Tuesday, November 28th, and you are attending one of our weekly webinars created to help New Jersey small business owners start, grow, and thrive. Welcome. If you are new here, we appreciate you joining. And if you have been joining us and supporting our webinars, we also appreciate your support and look forward to maintaining this relationship and partnership. And we are America's New Jersey Small Business Development Centers Network. If you are curious what NJSBDC stands for, and if you're curious on what we do, we're a statewide program powered by the SBA, Small Business Administration, and partners to help small businesses in New Jersey with three key things. All right, so what are they? First, no cost small business consulting. That is right, no cost. Training events starting at $0, just like the webinar you're attending right now, and exclusive small business resources. If you look at the map over there on the right, you'll see the state of New Jersey, of course, divided into all the counties of New Jersey. And where you see the little SBDC logos is where our regional centers are situated. So whether it's virtual or in-person counseling or events, you can get those regional centers are available for our clients to attend. All right, while we do this, and while we introduce ourselves, while I introduce myself, please get the chat going on. Tell us who you're from, listen to me, who you are, where you're from, what you do if you have a small business idea, or if you're interested in registering with us, and where you heard about us, or who told you, or how you celebrated your break or anything like that. Feel free to network and let us know what you've been up to. Hopefully everyone had a great break, relaxing break. So the Tuesday, we usually have our Thursday webinars. The Tuesday webinars are for how to register your small business with $0 NJSBC support. This, of course, is a multi-session webinar series. So if you've been attending our Tuesday webinars in the past few weeks, this is the exact same webinar. We have created these to help provide startup assistance and help New Jersey's aspiring entrepreneurs start, grow, and thrive. Just a little different from our Thursday webinars. And the headlines, I will share the same headlines from previous week. If you are not familiar with them, that's the agenda. Then we have our speaker. The presentation will happen and the Q&A session after. So pretty exciting. And the headlines will be shared in the chat. The links will be shared because we've shared this and there was a Thanksgiving break. These have already been shared, so I will go through them very quickly, just reading out the title, some information, and of course, links will be shared. New Aspire rules aim to strengthen affordable housing and expand eligibility, approved by NJEDA board. This was released last week, coming straight to you from NJEDA's website. So this is for the Aspire program, and there are new rules approved by the board: increased project awards, transformative projects, affordability controls. So all of this information you can find from the link that will be shared. The second one is also from NJEDA. The board approves program to expand access to capital for emerging developers. So approved new $20 million pilot program to support rising real estate developers to help them gain access to capital and build additional capacity to expand their existing portfolio. All right, and the third is our state director right there, Kelly Rosna. This is just an article from ROI-NJ, New Jersey Bankers Charitable Foundation, recognized for supporting local veterans. And this is Micah Fuso, CEO and President of the New Jersey Bankers Association, just highlighting everyone's contribution to this wonderful cause. Oops, not that one. And moving on from headlines, again, these headlines will be shared. Things to keep in mind. So if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, not the chat box. I see all the wonderful people replying in our chat box. Thank you all for sharing the information. Really grateful for the engagement as always. But questions, if you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A so we can address them after in the Q&A session. Keeping in mind that this webinar is for registering your business, we'll be walking you through on how to register, what the entire process is, the three-step process is, right? So if there are any questions related to, if you already have a small business in existence, then we'll most likely ask you to go request counseling with our NJSBDC network, depending on where you are or what you want to do or what your question is. But this webinar and the Q&A session will strictly be for questions for how to register your small business. If you like to receive the slides, then you'll just have to complete a brief survey and you'll receive them. It is a Google form, very quick. Once you do that, at the submission page, you'll get the slide. And oh, I forgot, this webinar is being recorded. So you'll also get the recording on our website that the link has been shared and will be shared again. So you can just view the recording after at your own time. So let's welcome Vanessa Schwartz, who is one of our NJSBDC consultant. And Vanessa has been so great doing this for the past few weeks and taking everything in stride and answering questions and everything. So Vanessa, thank you. And welcome, and please share your screen and let's get started.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me share my screen. We'll get started. Okay, we'll start right here. So thank you again, Uzma, for the introduction. And I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And now we're back to work, back to thinking about our business and our businesses and where we can go with entrepreneurship. And so this webinar, again, we're going to talk a little bit about business structure, in particular, how to form and register your LLC. We want everybody to know here that we at the NJSBDC are here to assist you through that process, to walk you through it, make sure it gets done correctly and efficiently, and of course, be here for all your small business needs as you start and grow. So let's see, next slide. So business structures, again, the formation and registration. We'll talk a little bit about some state regulations and taxes that may come into play when it comes to forming your business. Touch upon a little bit funding and cash as new business owners and additional needs, opportunities for growth, all topics that are on the table with your NJSBDC consultant to assist you. Okay, so just to briefly go over the different structures that you may be interested in when you're forming a business. Briefly, the sole proprietorship. That is the simplest form of entrepreneurship. You apply for a trade name. That is paperwork that is done through your county clerk's office. You could usually get the application right on your municipal website. It's relatively inexpensive, usually between $50 and $60, last I had checked, to file for a trade name. It gives you a unique name in your county and your tax ID number for this business. It can be your social security number, or you can go to the IRS and get what is known as an EIN. And by doing that, very often we find that it might be more protective of your privacy not to use your social security number when you're as a tax ID, but to use the EIN, but you don't have to. The sole proprietorship, as you transact business, allows for you to use your personal bank accounts. It's acceptable for use in your business. And your income that you earn from your business is passed through using a attachment to your personal income tax return. So it's a very simple, relatively easy tax filing process where you'll report your sales, your expenses, and your net income will then pass through up to your personal tax return, and again through a Schedule C attachment. There's no legal separation between the assets of the owner and the assets of the business. So, unfortunately, there's no liability protection. We definitely, for many types of businesses, it's not an issue. But if there's some sort of a business that you're looking to get into where there is more liability, where you think of whether it be driving an Uber or delivery service where you're, potentially, at risk of, God forbid, getting into a car accident, something even as silly as if you have a brick and mortar retail front, there could be issues of people coming onto the property. So what is important to remember here is that you are not shielded from any liability issues that come to play in your business. Your personal assets are at risk. So moving on, we have the limited liability company, the LLC, very popular vehicle for small business. It is $128 to form your LLC. That is directly paid to New Jersey. The $75 per year to maintain. So with the LLC, we do have annual dues as opposed to the sole proprietorship. But it's a very simple filing process once a year, about the anniversary of your formation. You log on to the portal and you pay your $75. It's called filing an annual report. With a limited liability company, you would get an EIN, a tax number. It'll be assigned to your LLC. The EIN is accessible and free through the IRS. Your banking is now legally required to be separate from your personal. So you would need to open up a separate business banking account so that you can transact your business through that account. And the LLC has some flexibility on how you wish your income to be taxed. If you are a single member LLC, member means owner in LLC terminology, the Schedule C is sufficient way to report your income. If you're more than one member, a multi-member, very often the Form 1065 comes into play. But there are also options as LLC owners to be taxed as corporations. And that's something that you would want to discuss with your accountant. But generally speaking, you'll see, especially when you have only one owner, the Schedule C attachment is permitted for tax filing purposes. And then ultimately, you get your limited liability. You are protected. The assets held within the umbrella of your LLC are generally separate from your own personal assets. So any problems or issues that may occur with respect to debt or a lawsuit, you typically would only be at risk of the assets held within the LLC. Certainly, there are times when things could become much more dangerous if there is a highly negligent situation where can any lawyer potentially go after you personally for something that you might have done? Possibly. So that's why we say limited liability. The corporation is probably the strongest liability protection setup. It is a little bit more structured. We have the requirement to establish bylaws. You would create a board of directors, hold shareholder meetings. There is a separate tax return for your corporation, and the corporation is subject to corporate tax rates. And then ultimately, any profits left thereafter are subject to additional taxation through to any shareholders any dividends that are paid out, the shareholders are required to pay income, not income, excuse me, dividend taxes on the profits after the corporate tax rate is handled. So just a little brief explanation. You may have heard C Corp versus S Corp. S Corp is a filing that indicates a change in tax status for the corporations to avoid double taxation. It would allow for the corporation to avoid that corporate tax rate. There are some rules around that, who and what type of corporation would be allowed to opt for the S Corp tax filing. LLC owners may also choose to be taxed as an S Corp at a certain point in the life of their business. This allows for the owners of the business to actually go on payroll. They would be paid as an employee, and this thereby reduces their total operating income and ultimately the amount of self-employment taxes they are subject to. So that's just a little bit of information about the C Corp versus the S Corp. So really, we're going to focus today on the limited liability company. Again, we want you to get it right the first time. Where you may find it helpful to hire a third party to form and register your business. I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, but it is something we believe you could do for yourself. And with a little bit of assistance with somebody who knows what they're doing, it's helpful for you as the business owner to understand the components of forming and registering the business. So a counselor will guide you, assist you. We'll go through the formation piece, the registration piece, and as well as we will help you obtain your EIN number from the IRS. So it's important to understand the terminology. It's important to understand that the NJ portal is where you can go and get all things you need for your business. Everything is there. It's relatively user-friendly. We want to make sure you know where to find documents, where to take care of certain things, where to pay your annual dues, where to possibly file for an alternate business name. Pretty much everything relating to your LLC can be found on the NJ portal. We help you understand what your obligations are, what your legal requirements are in running your business, keeping your documents organized and accessible both on paper and electronically, and encourage you through your bookkeeping needs. We offer QuickBooks classes, and we would try to guide and counsel what might work best for you in terms of keeping your finances organized. So once we form the LLC, we have to register the company in order to transact business for tax purposes. That's a piece that often gets left out. When we talk about a three-step process to form and register your business, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the formation, we're talking about the registration, and obtaining the tax ID number. Forming the LLC is the legal act of basically creating the business. That's what costs the $128. The registration is free, but it is necessary in order to do business in New Jersey. You must register your business entity with the Division of Revenue and Treasury Services. The step is often overlooked, and it can create issues for businesses down the road if it's not handled correctly. Anytime there is any type of government assistance or grants or loan programs, or even something as along the lines of procurement and contracting, becoming a certified small business owner, if you're not properly registered, you wouldn't be able to take advantage of any of that. So we make sure that it is all done correctly and that you're ready to go. There are some new federal requirements coming into play in 2024. an additional report that will have to be filled out regarding the ownership of your LLC. You can find out more information about these changes at the link provided there. If you fill out the questionnaire at the end of the presentation, you will get access to these slides, and you'll have access to all the links within the slides as well. So what will you need to have? So when you work with us, we will tell you prior to forming your LLC, you'll have to have a unique business name. The unique name is unique to New Jersey. There is a link right there that'll take you to where you can search for availability of your business name. The next thing that you will need to have, again, is your EIN. That's your tax ID number that would get assigned to your LLC. We will go to the irs.gov with you. We will help you fill out the application, and it'll generate your tax ID number immediately. You'll need to know your NICS codes and New Jersey industry codes. We help you with that. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, the state requires to know what types of businesses are being formed in the state. So it helps with knowledge by assigning industry codes to what it is that you're doing. You will need a registered agent. Registered agent has to be an entity or a representative that is in New Jersey and can be the contact liaison for your business. Now, you can be your own registered agent. If you wish, as a small business, you are permitted to be your own registered agent. If not, you could hire a registered agent. Sometimes accountants serve as registered agents, lawyers. There are third-party registered agent facilities that come at a small cost. The operating agreement is required if you are more than one owner within the LLC, a multi-member LLC. You will need to have an operating agreement. The operating agreement will spell out a number of terms relating to ownership, contribution, profit sharing. You think of all the things that could go wrong. If you were to dissolve your business at some point, how would the assets be distributed? So it's important to have an operating agreement. You can use an attorney. You don't necessarily have to. There are templates online that guide you through how to put an operating agreement together. Since it is an online process, you would need a debit or credit card to pay the fee for the formation piece. It's $125 plus the $350 processing fee, or you may use an e-check. And you will need to know the names and addresses and social security numbers of any of the members of the LLC. That piece of it will you'll be asked for that when we actually register with the Division of Revenue and Treasury. So along the lines of the registration piece, once you're actually in the NJ reg, this is sometimes referred to, you'll be asked how you wish to be taxed. That's where you would check the button on which tax filing that you choose for your business. You'll need to know if the sale of your goods or services are subject to state sales tax. The New Jersey does provide, and we do have a link later on in this presentation, the information, all goods and services that they can think of. It's in a booklet format of what is subject to state sales tax and what isn't. Sometimes it's obvious, but it's not necessarily. You think of goods being usually subject to sales tax, and services are usually exempt. That's not necessarily the case. It's important to check and make sure. For example, cleaning services it's a service, but it is subject to sales tax. And then there are certain goods that are not subject to sales tax, namely basic clothing. So even with that, once you get into some accessories, a scarf, a belt, sometimes certain types of shoes, sometimes, but even in the shoe category, there could be some shoes that are subject to sales tax and some that aren't. So it's important to check the New Jersey list. Also, some businesses will require additional registrations and certifications. There are insurance thresholds for some of that. Some examples there are a general contractor, a handyman. There's a general contractor registration that's required. There are some certifications required for food safety or food handling. There are certifications required for home health aides. So it's important to know if your business is subject to any of the additional requirements that New Jersey has in order for you to operate in the state. And workers' compensation is important too. If you do choose to have employees, and if you even choose to have independent contractors, there could be, you are required, at least you would want to check to see if you would be required to have workers' compensation. And lastly here, you just want to identify a bank where you'll open up your business bank account. We always say try to find a bank that doesn't charge you any fees. Many banks will work with you. Many banks have special programs. Sometimes best to check where you personally bank, say, hey, I'm opening up a business. I need to have a separate business bank account. What programs do you run? And, you can feel around and see what works best for you. There are a number of choices in the state. Here are some links for you. This is where, let's see. Okay, the first one is when I was referring to licenses and registrations. The site would you could look up what it is, what business or what industry you're in, and see if there's anything required. The sales tax requirements are, the link is there for you to see if your goods or services are subject to state sales tax. There's some information about income tax requirements under the state. I think it probably references the process to pay your estimated income taxes if that's required. And then some informations on payroll, whether you have employees through a W-2, W-4 situation, or if you're going to hire an independent contractor. That's when you issue a 1099 to a contractor, they fill out the W-9, and you pay them for their services. So when you counsel with the SBDC, some of the things that we might discuss after we form and register your business, or before we form and register your business, would be your startup needs, your financial needs. How much money do you need to actually start that business? What's the costs to actually opening the door to that business? Then what are your ongoing cash needs in order to stay viable, operating each month? What kind of personal budget considerations are there? Have you saved money? Is there money that you want to invest in your business? Do you need other sources of capital, whether that be through a loan or a line of credit? Sometimes grants can be available for startups, although that can be a little bit tricky. Usually it's, in my experience, I've seen once you're at least up and running and you have your plan together and you have some sort of business model to show, I think it could be a lot easier to maybe look for those grants for your startup. We will also spend time just assisting in the financing piece of it. If you are going out to seek a loan, what is the lender looking for? We work with many bankers who work with small businesses, and we prep you and prepare you for financing. We'll help you with your business plan. We can help you with your projections. We can work through your use of proceeds and what your project costs are, so that you're ready and able to go and speak to the lender and be able to make the case for the loan. And also, we really, in all that we do, whether it's one-on-one counseling or through our webinars, we really feel that financial literacy is very important as small business owners to, understand the differences between an income statement and a balance sheet and know your cash flows. It's not necessarily your first language, but not everybody comes from having studied business. You have a craft, you have a skill, you could be in a million different types of industries and never once thought about the importance of an income statement. Well, now that you're business owners, these are the types of things that are important, and it's helpful to educate yourself on some of the financial pieces of running your business so that you ultimately are profitable. And that's the end game. We want you to be profitable and we want you to grow profitably. And that goes with our bookkeeping, uh, counseling. We offer the classes in QuickBooks. We can talk about spreadsheets. Sometimes people may just keep their finances organized in a notebook. I think as long as you're organized and you're able to understand the flows of money in and out of your business, that is what is most critical, because at the end of the day, you want to know that you are, in fact, bringing in more than you're spending. So in your journey, accountants, lawyers, insurance agents, these are all professionals that you may need to reach out to at some point. We try to work with you and answer as many questions as we can, but admittedly, myself, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an insurance agent. So in that respect, if there are certain things that we feel that are important for you to seek out, we will tell you. And again, with the lenders, we have many wonderful relationships and are happy to help you and make introductions when we know you are, ready to go. If you're in the market to looking for any SBA loans or other lending vehicles. We have marketing and social media strategists, counselors on staff. So if that's what you're looking for, we can always assign you to somebody where that is more their niche. And ultimately, we want to be business mentors to you and assist in any way possible. Other opportunities as you grow, things that we do at the NJSBDC is we can assist in helping you obtain your state certifications, assist in explaining the process of procurement and the world of government contracting. Once again, SBA lending. The NJEDA is a wonderful organization that basically provides all sorts of resources and in financial support, grants, loans. We've done a lot with our clients in helping them identify maybe which programs could work for them at their stage, or depending on their need, and assisting with those applications. And then all our educational programs, you can find our webinars, replays of older webinars, and what's coming up at our website. Okay, so I'm going to have this slide up for a little bit. I'm going to turn it back over to Uzma for some Q&A. And just so you know, the top QR code, we very much encourage you, if you have not yet formed or registered your business, that's where you want to go. You want to reach out either at this link or scan the code. You'll get assigned to a counselor and we will get you formed and registered. It takes about an hour, get you done. And that way you can be ready to go in the new year operating your new business. For those of you who are already in business and you want to request counseling, you can scan the bottom QR code and you'll be assigned to a counselor to answer any pertinent questions you may have and to help. And then the last thing I want to say is, if any of you who want to form your business and register your business in person with a counselor, we are hosting a in-person formation registration class. I just have to pull it up. Just 1 second. Here we go. You may scan this QR code and go ahead and see what we got going on. Okay, so this is December 11th between 2 and 4. You can bring your own laptop, just must have your credit or debit card to pay online. Again, that goes to the state of New Jersey, $128. Our services are no cost to you. And let me pull this back up. Okay. Okay, so with that, I think we can turn it over.
All right. So Vanessa, keep that screen. I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. You don't have to stop sharing. It will just automatically happen. I would like to show our audience. I know it's 12:38, so just in case anybody has to leave or, just check out and they want to view the recording later. So all the links that we usually share are with here we go. So these are all our NJSBDC links. Can you see this, Vanessa?
Yes.
The screen? Okay, perfect. So all our NJSBDC links that we share come from this main webpage right here, njsbdc.com. The first thing that shows up is, we want to help New Jersey small businesses grow. How you can put in your email, select your county if you're from New Jersey, and then it will take you to a registration page. And our website, just a little humble brag, is a great resource. So I encourage you to just take 5 minutes out of your time to just go through this entire website. We have blog posts, we have a podcast, we have a resources hub. You can see so much information from here. Some examples I can just quickly walk you through right now is our library. So if you go to events and click on this, it'll take you to this page. This is our video library. And this is also available on our YouTube channel, but also a library here. All the topics that you can find, marketing, strategies for holiday season, R&D, SBIR, and SDTR, AI for marketing, innovations, whatever it is, QuickBooks or HR management, and NJEDA small business grant programs. Things like that, you'll find them here. It's not only this, there are a lot more. It keeps going, going, going. You can find them here. From this page, if you go to statewide events, we have all our networks. If you remember the little map that I was showing you earlier in the intro and all the regional centers that I mentioned on the map, all the events, whether in person or virtual, it'll tell you online, live, webinar, those things, it'll tell you. So this is from this, all our regional centers throughout New Jersey. And there are many different topics and you can, search however you want. And yeah. And the third page that I want to show you is just this one, the request counseling one. With Vanessa, if you'd like to speak to Vanessa, it's a specific page. Very quickly, NJSBDC, sorry, njsbdc.com/startup. And this is the page for Vanessa if you'd like to speak to her. We do differentiate because with Vanessa, it is on how to register your small business. This is just a regular, so any topic for marketing, accounting, finance, things like that, you can go to this page. For Vanessa, it's this page. All right, I'm done with my spiel. Again, a reminder, this is being recorded, and it will be available. So Vanessa, you can go back to sharing your last slide.
Okay.
Yes,
How's
Donna,
that?
you'll you'll be able to view the replay on the page that I showed earlier or our YouTube channel. All right, so Vanessa, starting with our questions, I'll go in the order that we received them. Anonymous asked, would this be helpful for out-of-state businesses?
If you're an out-of-state business who wants to do business in New Jersey with a location, a physical location in New Jersey, you can register as a foreign. There is something called foreign to New Jersey. So domestic New Jersey are those businesses that are in New Jersey. Then those that are out of state that are maybe LLCs in different states, they need to, for whatever reason, register to do business in New Jersey. You can go to the portal and you would select register as or form as a foreign LLC foreign. New Jersey foreign. Yeah.
Thank you. We have a question from Betsy who asks, will there be another in-person event to walk us through registering the businesses after the December 12th event?
Yes, we're going to hopefully do this 1 to 2 times a month. So there'll be another location in January, and we'll just keep advertising it. We're going to try to do these. There are part of our Learning Lab series. So the answer is yes.
Got it. Hopefully that helps, Betsy. We look forward to having you in one of those events. Next question from Jasmine. How can I register my business when it's based out of my home?
It's no different. You have then if you had a location, you have a home based business. What you would do is you could use your home address, or you can have set up a, a a different mailing address if you want as your address for your business. You still need a registered agent. The registered agent could be yourself, or you could hire a third party to be your registered agent. But it really doesn't make any difference. We deal with home-based businesses all the time. So hopefully that answers your question.
All right, next question is from Mama Lion. Can only the companies in New Jersey register with NJ small businesses?
Well, so just so you know, the SBDCs are nationwide. We have centers in every state and Puerto Rico. So if you are an LLC currently in a different state and you want assistance with your business, you could contact your local SBDC and inquire about services and mentorship. If you're looking to take your business and do business in New Jersey, say you identified a location in New Jersey that you'd like to come to and register to do business in New Jersey, we can walk you through that process of forming as a foreign. So as long as you have a New Jersey business address that you're coming here to do business, we could help you. Otherwise, I would contact your local SBDC right where you are.
Definitely. And they followed up asking they're not a resident of New Jersey. And even though they're not a resident of New Jersey, they do want to do business in New Jersey. So would that be possible?
You know what? Best to make an appointment and let us talk you through it. There are some nuances about that. Who is required to register to do business and who isn't. So I would have to know a little bit more about your situation because there are thresholds involved. Depends on who you're contracting with. Depends if it's an online business, so we'd have to learn a little bit more about what you're doing. So definitely, you can make an appointment or you can contact your local SBDC and ask them the process for going out of state.
Definitely. And that goes for everyone asking on, whether this network, if they're outside of New Jersey and how they can receive our counseling. We did get one of those questions. So again, like Vanessa said, a nationwide program. Please reach out. You just go to Google and you can type in SBDC and then the state where you're from. So if you're from Texas, type SBDC Texas, and the first few links that show up will definitely guide you to the nearest SBC to you. Okay, next question. Can you have, Mariana asked, can you have different businesses under a parent LLC?
Well, there's a couple ways you could do that, and that's why we were going to be careful about the terminology. The one example I'll put out there is if we want to talk about umbrella, one LLC as an umbrella LLC and different businesses under that LLC, that is permitted. You can have a number of businesses operate under that umbrella. They are still, though, part of that LLC. So all the income and bookkeeping will flow up to the totals that would be reported for the LLC. So people do that oftentimes by filing for alternate business names because they may have different businesses within their umbrella. And you can do that. It costs $50 for 5 years to have an alternate business name. And so if you have a jewelry business, you have a tutoring business, and you want them to be different names, you can pay for the option of having the alternate business names. But at the end of the day, when you add up all the revenues and expenses, the reporting will be under a Schedule C if it's a single member LLC, and it'll fall under one tax ID, which is assigned to the legal LLC name. Now, if you're talking about a parent LLC in terms of ownership, LLCs can be owned by other LLCs. I mean, I think it gets a little more complicated. I would talk to an accountant maybe about that. But if you have more specific questions about what you're looking to do, I would make an appointment.
Got it. Next question is all right, so this, I can definitely tell you that a lot of the questions that we're getting will require an appointment, but I will just ask them to Vanessa just in case. We can answer that right now. So will the businesses' names be protected, or anybody else could still use the name at a state level?
In terms of the business entity, there's one database for the state. And in order to create your LLC, your name does have to be unique, or corporation, your name has to be unique. So that database allows that. But that's only within New Jersey. That doesn't protect you in other states. So I don't know if that answers your question. If you're really concerned about protection, you may need to consider a trademark, and that is a more cumbersome, and there's a cost associated with that. But that would look at more on the federal level in terms of protection of your name. But for the purposes of forming in New Jersey, in order to get that formation certificate, you just have to basically be unique enough from the database that you would look through.
Got it. Next question is from Fran and Kevin, and they ask, can my address be protected from the public with an LLC formation?
Yes, yes, yes. You do not have to put your home address anywhere, per se. I'm not 100% sure about the IRS application. I think that is I think that is pretty much, they're asking for your home address. I think that's what you have to provide. I could be wrong. But in terms of the actual formation and registration, when it comes down to addresses, you can use for say your home-based business. Like I said, you can use a virtual um, mailbox. If you don't have a brick and mortar, you can just, and then with the registered agent, you can hire a third party registered agent, so your home address doesn't have to be there. So you can be protected in that respect. So the answer is yes.
Got it. Um, Next question is, can you have different businesses under a parent LLC?
Yes. Yes. I think that I might have just addressed that. And I'm going to change out the word parent and just use umbrella, meaning that within the umbrella of the LLC, you can have a number of different businesses. As long as you keep your businesses, organized in terms of your bookkeeping, and you're able to report all your net income on your Schedule C from your different businesses, it's fine. The only time that really becomes a problem is you never want to commingle across, uh, have any sort of risk issue with your two different lines of businesses where one business might be riskier than the other. And then if you find yourself in a situation where you're being sued, and now under your umbrella you own real estate or you have some other assets that are expensive, and then you're subject to liability with assets that are held within that umbrella LLC. So if it's something where you feel that there's too much risk, then you may want to consider a separate LLC for your different businesses.
Got it. Which you also answered Gail's question in that where they asked if they get sued, they're all at risk. All right, perfect. Um, I have a feeling this question is going to require an appointment with you, Vanessa, but I'll just ask in case you want to answer some of it right now. Anonymous asks, I am interested in starting an online store. Do I need to register as an NJ small business? Is it okay to be a sole proprietorship, or would you recommend an LLC?
Um, I, no, I think so. The sole proprietor still registers with Division of Revenue and Treasury. So I believe, and probably best to make an appointment, but you can go over the liability issues if there are any, if you're better protected with an LLC. I tend to think you would be. Anytime you're really kind of getting out there and dealing with uh, well, I think it just really depends on what you're selling as well. So that could be part of it as too. But um, the sole proprietor does register. I mean, the thing I'm thinking about is, if you're selling goods too that require collecting of sales tax. Um, I believe when you're registering, you still indicate that. But I'd have to double check on that one.
All right. Next question from Anonymous. How long does it take to be assigned to a counselor?
Typically, I think you put the request in. Um, it gets processed. You are then assigned to somebody, and then however long it takes to organize a mutual time that works. I would say within a week or 2 weeks, you'd be talking to somebody.
Yeah. Um, okay. This is not exactly related to this webinar, but it is an interesting question. So let's see. Mocha asks, is there a business marketplace to find accountants, lawyers, insurance agents, etc.?
I'm just going to answer it the way I normally would answer this when I work with clients one-on-one.
Yeah, yep,
I always just say, check with your local chambers of commerce and see.
exactly.
Okay, good. That's what you would say too, Uzma.
Hmm.
Um, see who's around, word of mouth, who's used, who before. Uh, Usually, people within your community are doing business with other people in your community. I think that's a good way to go.
Yep,
I'm
definitely
not to
agree.
say there aren't other resources out there, but that's the advice I would give a small business when they're looking for professionals.
Hmm. All right, so we do have a question. I'm not sure if this was answered, Vanessa, so apologies if it was, but is there a difference between having a business license and a wholesale license?
Uh, yes, yes. Well, business license will if you're referring to the registry, you form your business, you register a business. Now, if you are selling goods that are subject to sales tax, that's an example. You would also be able to indicate that you are in need of making exempt purchases. Because remember, the sales tax is only um, basically paid once, and it's by the end user. So if you're selling at a wholesale, if you're purchasing wholesale to sell retail, uh, that you call it a license, but really it's a certificate of authority. It's something that gets generated on your registration once you check the box that you are going to be making exempt purchases. And with that, you would fill out either I believe it's the ST3 or ST4, present it to the wholesaler if you're in New Jersey, and to be able to purchase things at no sales tax. So I don't know if that answers your question, but there is that extra step on the registration to indicate that you are going to be charging sales tax and therefore are going to need to make exempt purchases. It generates an additional paper, which I believe is called a certificate of authority.
All right, so we do have 4 questions left. I will intentionally leave them unanswered during the webinar here right now, only because yes, they do require an appointment. So if these questions are related to the registration and starting a business topic, then you will register to speak with Vanessa using the first link or the first QR code, njsbdc.com/startup. If you are already in business and it's something that you want to do online business selling, or that means if you are already in business, then please register to speak with just a counselor besides Vanessa, and that you can go to njsbdc.com. All right, so we will conclude our presentation here. Vanessa, I'll just quickly share my screen again to show everyone what's happening on Thursday. So let's just go to that real quick. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for doing this presentation, for answering all our questions, and for our attendees. If you'd like to keep in touch with us and attend our next webinar, this is for those of you who may already be in business, and this is related to tech small businesses. So if you know anyone, if you know a friend, family member, anyone who could, find this useful, please tell them to register. So SBIR/SDTR budgeting for success with Cheryl Vickroy, one of our tech team consultants. This is part of our tech series happening on Thursday, November 30th. And if you'd like to receive counseling and you'd like to talk to Vanessa, again, that's the QR code. And the website is njsbdc.com forward slash startup. We appreciate you all attending. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Thank you for attending this webinar. And we look forward to seeing you either this Thursday or next Tuesday again with Vanessa. And signing off. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.